Hey guys, what's up? Today I was going to show you how I go about making Twitch emotes. It's super easy. These can also just be used in Discord, or I think you can actually like upload them to your phone now to use as emojis that way. But we are going to be working on a cute little rabbit with a flower today, in honor of Valentine's Day. So what I normally do is I start out with a new canvas. I'm using Clip Studio Paint. You can use whatever you want. Adobe if you want to sell your soul. But Krita is also amazing free product, free program, sorry, that you can check out. But I commonly work in a 224 by 224, resolution 144. I don't know what these numbers really mean, but I like to work in 224 because it seems small enough for my brain to understand what details are going to work and what aren't. So the main thing when it comes to working on emotes is, holy crap, you have to be so simplified to understand that these get shrunk down to, I think it's 28 pixels by 28 pixels. So everything that you do is going to be fighting for space, right? It's also going to be fighting to not merge with the other colors. So what I'm thinking is, because all I really draw these days are rabbits, is we are going to do a little rabbit, and I think he's going to be trying to give a flower to somebody. Maybe he's got some heart eyes. He's in the spirit. Yo, what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? You got anything coming up? Anything cool? Or are you single and alone like me? Netflix. Yeah, that sounds like a fun Valentine Day option. That sounds cool. Okay, we'll probably just do a regular little, what is this? A lily? That just like a basic flower, because I don't know what I'm doing in life. And then we're gonna do, this is my normal body type, is just like a bean, or I guess it's an egg actually, and it's gonna be a relatively long arm. That's okay. We're gonna have it reaching out, then we'll just put his other hand down. So one thing I'm already noticing is, like everything, I draw at an angle to kind of reposition this, make it a little larger, turn it a bit. Yeah, that's probably good. And then let's get a little happy face. He is love drunk, that is for sure. And then we'll have the stem of the flower coming down, and we'll add a leaf to it also. I think that's probably good enough for our starter sketch. Now let's get into the inking portion, the lining. This is actually how fast I normally work. I know there's some people that they take a really long time, and which is fine, work at your speed. But I've come to the conclusion that if I take too long on stuff, I overthink it, and my lines look, they don't improve over time. I just hate them more, right? Which, I mean, that is what, that flower looks bad. Let's, by the way, I'm using the G pen that just comes with this program, and then in 224 by 224, I normally draw with a brush size of 6. And the reason for that is I feel like the lines are bold enough that they work without being too much where they get muddy together. So we are actually going to add a thumb. I'm going to send his hand across. Is that how it would look? He was holding it out. I think it is. Hands are hard. Stem. And now I'm actually going to come in and do the heart eyes, just because these are kind of up over the actual line work of the head. Don't judge my hearts. They're not something I practice drawing very often. Jawline there. This jawline would come down and across. Bottom of the arm. Belly. This line here and here. So that's the other arm. That. So you have a little bit of forehead. And swoop across for the big ears. And one more ear. Boy. I actually think shift that. Sick. And then Okay. So now I have my line art here. There are some people that like to do a thicker outline on the outside of their drawing. Completely fine. You can do that if you would like. I'm not going to do that. Other thing that some people do is you would alpha lock it, and then you're like, oh, okay, my eyes are going to be red. So let's find a dark red, and this softens up the emote a lot, which can look very nice. But you need to make sure that there's enough differential in your lining color versus what you're filling it with, or else it can kind of hard to tell when it gets shrunk. I'm probably just gonna leave it black outlines just because I struggle with color, which is why I actually use this color palette here. The color palette is called Soft Visual Novel. It's available in the Clip Studio Paint community thing. The color wheel scares me. There's too many choices, and I work better on a limited palette. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So let's start a new layer, and we are going to get coloring. For those of you guys who don't know, the paint bucket in this program is insanely good. So we can just clickety-clack our colors to put them in. I think we're going to go pink on the flower. And then we'll do nice center. And then we will do red for our eyes. This is the color I normally use for the tongue, which I should wait until I do the body of the bunny first. Which I think we're going to do maybe as a blue. That could look good. Little blue bunny. Not this color. No, that's going to blend in with the flower. I think if we do that, the flower has to be white. Okay, let's try, I don't hate that. So let's turn the flower to white. Then come back in. I need to, and is that a different color? Learning something? It is a different color. Okay. Now let's go back. We'll add our pink for the mouth. Okay, so now we have our basic colors. Now we need to understand that everybody colors differently. The way I color may not be the same that you. But there is a cheat code that I do sometimes, which is I add a new layer. And like I said, too many colors hurts my brain. So what I do is I'll normally take like a purple or a blue, and then I just color where I want the shadows to be. I think this is called cell shading. I didn't go to art school, so everything I say could in fact be wrong, and this could be a horrible technique you shouldn't do. But I think the best way to learn is by trying stuff and see what works for you. So feel free to try out this method. You may hate it, fine. Or you could be like, wow, that makes coloring way easier than me trying to understand color theory by myself, or watching a tutorial where someone isn't using words, they're just writing it on a notepad. You guys remember when those were like super popular for tutorials? It was just like no audio, just an open notepad that they would type in. Okay, I think that's where I want all my shadows to be. And then we just lower the opacity of this a little bit. Okay. Probably like 30. 30 is probably good. Now I want to add some white highlights to the eyes. Reason I do this is it just gives it that little bit of pop that we're going to have when it actually gets shrunk down. Also, you can see over here on the right hand side, that's where I tried to like keep it somewhat near the same size that it's going to be when it gets turned into an emote. And now let's go through, and we are going to add what I do as the little highlights on the outside. So we're just going to go like a color higher for most of these. The problem with this pink is I actually think white is going to be like the closest that I can get. So we're just going to add white to places where I feel it should be. There is no science to this. Merely a vibe. God, that's such horrible art advice. Just vibe it out. You'll figure it out. Like, oh man. Okay, and then I'm actually gonna add. Do you feel like the rabbit should have like a white spot around its mouth. Belly will also be a little white spot. Then we'll add a little white spot on the ears. Now comes the part where you make a decision. Okay, this is where you go in life. What sounds cool? So we can go back to like we were talking about with the alpha lock, and you could start coming through and being like, okay, let's do the eyes with a darker outline. I'm actually going to do this for this one just because this is different than I normally do. And hey, for the sake of it, I'm sure that there's a faster way to do this or a smarter way to do it, but I just alpha lock my line art and then go to town. Let's do here. That in. That's really cute. I like that. And we need to find a good like pinkish purple for the outline of the body. Let's go with it's good. Yeah, that's good. We just guess and check in this. Then I'm probably gonna for Valentine. Maybe I'll use this as like my profile picture. I feel like 224 by 224 is enough. Like it's big enough that you can also use it for other things. I know there's some people that are like, oh, do every drawing in 1000 by 1000. I'm just like, yeah, nah, I'm good. I like limited color palettes and small canvases. Those are my go-to. Okay. Get that right up to the line. So color, and I forgot this is the thumb and hand. You know, in hindsight, I may have wanted to go slightly darker on this outline than it is. Do I change that now? I do feel like it needs to be darker. Yeah, we're gonna go darker. The reason being is I don't think it's like it's not gonna look right. It needs to have more substantial oomph for an outline. So we're gonna go with this color instead. I think it's a bit darker, but it still kind of has the same feeling that we were going for. Something else that you can do that I've seen content creators do or artists where you actually do like a gradient on your line art. Completely fine. You can do that. That's cool. It's the same thing. You just alpha lock and then you would do a gradient with like a soft brush. But I'm going to pass on that. But it is an option if you try it out. And then for our flowers, let's do... I would never know what color to use for like the outline on something that is white. I guess we'll use like this gray. That would look good. Yeah, that works. And we need to do the center. Oh. We need to do the mouth. I think we're almost good. Twitch emotes are like actually surprisingly easy to draw. I know that they scare a lot of people because like, oh, it's so limiting in the size. Which, yes, that's true. But in doing that, if you just get the understanding of like, hey, I can simplify everything because when it gets shrunk, you're not gonna see all this heavy detail anyways. It's so rewarding when you have an emote that just works. Because yeah, it's like there's no point in wasting all that time. No one's gonna see it, right? So I think this is where we're gonna be for our emote. The one thing to consider is a lot of times, because we live in the day and age where dark mode is almost necessary so that we don't go blind, I normally will dark mode my backgrounds, and then I make the decision of, does this need an outline or not? This one I don't think does. But a lot of times what I will do is I will also do a version of it that just has a white outline. Just because I most of the emotes I draw, I include this just because it's kind of become a, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where it's something that you do on all your art so people start to recognize you for it. Yeah, well, I keep wanting to say call sign, but I don't think that's it. Yep, Yep, I got nothing. I want you to know as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm gonna remember the word. I'm gonna scream it. Actually, you could just comment it. That would be great. Yeah, just comment it. Um, I hope that you guys try making emotes, even if they're just for Discord, for like you and your friends to use. Dude, it's so fun. Make memes of your friends. It means a lot to people. Like a silly little drawing that can take you like 5 minutes and make people's days so much better. So I think this is where we're gonna call it. This is my Valentine's Day bunny. I'll probably change it to my profile picture, but I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. If there's anything you want to see me draw, I promise the next one probably won't be rabbit related. Maybe I'll make a real drawing. But either way, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.